It's the dictionary. It's the dictionary. It's the dictionary. It's the dictionary. Dictionary. It's the dictionary. It's the dictionary.
Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. My name is Spencer. This is episode F111, and this episode is airing on my half birthday because I'm an adult who still thinks about that thing, I guess. When you've known what your half birthday is for your entire life, for 40 years or more, it's hard not to get it out of your brain. All right, my sidelights might die in this episode because I forgot to charge them yesterday. We'll see what happens. The first word in this episode, this wonderful episode, we're finishing the FIs today. Oh my gosh, how did we get here? So the first word is fixed charge. 2 words, noun from circa 1901. A regularly occurring expense that must be met when due. And examples are rent, taxes, or interest. Oh, some of our favorite things in the world. Rent, taxes, interest. A regularly occurring expense. You got to pay it regularly. You got to do your taxes every year. You got to pay taxes every paycheck you get if you get those sorts of things. Rent, you got to pay that every month. Mortgage, you got to pay that every month. Interest, got to pay interest on whatever the thing is, the mortgage, the car, blah, blah, blah. Must be met when due. Yep, if you don't, it's a fixed. You have a regular schedule that you got to pay these things. They're taking my money. They're for good uses sometimes. You gotta pay it when it's time to pay it. I suggest doing auto pay if you can, but some people live paycheck to paycheck and they can't do that. All right, let's make a sound effect. Let's go bzzz. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to go bzzz. Nope, it's the same sound, dummy. Tss. Sure. Okay, next is fixed oil. 2 words, noun from circa 1791. A non-volatile oil, but especially a fatty oil. And it says compare to essential oil. And I don't remember what that one is, but that happened way back in the E's. A non-volatile, well, we had non-volatile synonym in the previous episode, so it's not all crazy and chaotic. It's fixed. And it's an oil, so it's a fixed oil. A very clever name. The dictionary is full of clever names. Tss. Now we have fixed point. 2 words. Adjective from 1948. Involving or being a mathematical notation in which the point separating whole numbers and fractions is fixed. Compare to floating point, which will be later. Why am I not aware of this? The fixed point, I mean, I think of, you think of the decimal 1.2. The decimal is staying there. It's not moving. It's not floating. It's fixed in place between the 1 and the 2. Mathematical notation. Oh, the example is the decimal system. That's why I brought up 1.2. The point separating whole numbers and fractions is fixed. But what is this floating point thing? Why, how, when, where, why does the point float? We all float down here. Interesting. Tss. Next is fixed star. 2 words, noun from 1551. A star so distant, how distant is it? It's so distant that its motion can be measured only by very precise observations over long periods. You can only measure its motion by looking at it for a very, very long time. Years maybe, decades maybe. And basically, I mean, it just looks like it's a fixed star because it's so far out there, it looks like it's not moving. But when you watch it for a very long time and you do a time lapse of the sky, you can see, oh yeah, it's moving a little bit. But that's because it's so far away that it looks like it's not moving at all. I was just listening to a podcast this morning. There is a new telescope being built in Chile that will be ready and fully operational later in 2025, and it's the biggest digital camera. So I think it's literally just a very large digital camera like you might have at home, but a big one. It's the size of a car, and they're going to use this for at least 10 years to shoot basically a time lapse of the sky to see how things move. They're going to do a 3D model of the Milky Way and do all sorts of other things, and so they'll probably see some fixed stars out there, but they're not fixed. They just look fixed. Okay, 1551 is when that one's from. Way back then, they were like, that star ain't moving, but it is. Psst. Next is fixer. Noun from 1601. One that fixes, as a person who intervenes to enable someone to circumvent the law or obtain a political favor. What are they well, they're fixing, we talked about the boxing matches and sporty competition games. They're fixing them. They're making it so somebody can do something illegal. They're changing the outcome. Fixing the outcome. A person who intervenes to enable someone to circumvent. Yeah, I mean, so the fixer is going to be like, hey, you should lose this game, because, and if you don't, I'm going to break your legs. I'm going to murder your family. I'm thinking about movies. And so, you do this illegal thing. I'm fixing it. I'm the fixer. Okay, we got more. B. A person who adjusts matter or disputes by negotiation. Negotiation. They're going to come and say, well, let's try and fix the situation. Maybe you are not agreeing on what's going on, so I'm going to come and fix it. I'm going to negotiate so we can make everybody happy, because everybody should be happy. C, the synonym is sodium thiosulfate. And I'm trying to remember, I think we had some sort of, we had something in fix, the fix, bacteria that fixes nitrogen, something about hardening for microscopic study, so maybe this fixer chemical stuff is going to be used in those science-y situations. Also, we got more. A solution of sodium thiosulfate is also called the fixer. Okay, fantastic. I have never used sodium thiosulfate, and I don't plan to. Next is fixer-upper. 2 words with a hyphen. This is a noun from circa 1977. That's when they coined this term. This is something, like a house or a car, that needs fixing up. Most people would look at it and say, oh, we gotta fix it up. So it's a fixer-upper. And then we're gonna flippy-flop it. We're gonna make it all nice and great, and then sell it and make $10 on our fixer-upper house. There was a whole show, maybe there still is a whole show about fixer-uppers. I've watched it, not for a long time. I don't watch those things anymore. Fixer-upper. It takes work. You got to be willing to put some work and money into this thing, this fixer-upper. Some people don't want that. They just want to move in ready. But no, some people want to do the work and maybe make some more money on the back end. Psst. It's not. It's just. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Next is fixing. Noun from 1605. Number 1, the act or process of one that fixes. When the fixer comes in to fix the boxing match, they are fixing the situation. It's not broken. How are they fixing it? I'm still baffled by, why are we using that word there? Number 2 is plural, And it says often fixins. That's how you often pronounce this one when it's pluralized. You say fixins, not fixings. Fixins. It is customary accompaniments. The synonym is trimmings, as in the example, a turkey dinner with all the fixins. All of the stuff. Why are they called fixins here? What do you have with a big old turkey dinner? You got stuffing, obviously. You got rolls, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, some sort of greens, probably. What else? What else are part of the turkey dinner with all the fixins? I know that there's some big ones that I'm forgetting, but those are the standouts for me, I guess. Fixins. Why are we saying fixins? Because you're fixing the dinner, you're putting it together, so they're called the fixins. It's just a fun word to say. Tss. Next is fixity, Fixity, noun from 1666. Number 1, the quality or state of being fixed or stable. And number 2, something that is fixed. Is a fixity the quality or state of being? I am fixed or stable. My feet are stapled to the ground, so I have fixity. Who uses this? Nobody uses this. It's from 1666. Tss. Okay, now we have fixture. A number of definitions here. Noun from 1598. Number 1, the act or process of fixing. And also the state of being fixed is fixture. Number 2a, something that is fixed or attached as to a building, as a permanent appendage, or as a structural part. Examples are a plumbing fixture, could be a toilet, a sink, a shower, a tub. Those are the big ones. A plumbing, so it's permanently installed. So it's fixed in place. It's a fixture. 2b, a device for supporting work during machining. Device for supporting work during machining. So I guess while you're machining things, you need something to help you with your work. So it's a fixture, probably because it's locked in place. It's fixed. C, an item of movable property so incorporated into real property that it may be regarded as legally a part of it. What is this? A fixture? I mean, built-in bookshelves? An item of movable property. So it's something that can be moved around, but it's incorporated into the space somehow that's like, it's just part of it when you're selling your place. Yeah, I mean, I guess bookshelves, while they are maybe technically movable, maybe they're kind of built in to the space, and they're like, just keep it. We're just going to leave it there. It's a fixture. It's fixed in place. We don't want to move it. It's fine. You can have it. Number 3, a familiar or invariable present element or feature in some particular setting. Especially a person long associated with a place or activity. Okay. So something could be anything that's just in a place for a long time, and people just associate that thing or that person with that area, that space. So, if you watch the video, I've had this chimp puppet sitting here for a while now. You may say that he is a fixture of this podcast because he's just sitting there hanging out. It would be weird if he wasn't here. Sometimes there's people just hanging out somewhere, and you're like, I walk by that place every day, and there that person is. They're a fixture of my walk. Oh, there's that tree. That tree is such a fixture. Number 4, a settled date of time or time, a settled date or time, especially for a sporting or festive event. Also, such an event, especially as a regularly scheduled affair. Yeah, similar idea. It's a thing that just happens every week, every month. Oh, it's a fixture of our lives every week. So like I live by a football stadium, college football stadium, and in the fall, not every week, but maybe every other week on average for a few months, there's a lot of people around ready to watch the football, tailgating, going to the local bars and restaurants, walking with their clothes. So that is a fixture of our neighborhood, that regularly scheduled football game. And then, of course, all the people these are the fixtures in your neighborhood. All right. We now have one more fix word, one more F-I-X word. It's not the last word of the episode. Sorry to have gotten you all excited. It's fix up. 2 words. Verb from 1764. I believe it is only transitive. Number 1, the synonym is refurbish. Refurbish, as in fix up the attic. When I was young, my parents fixed up the basement. The cellar. Well, we don't call it a cellar. We call it a basement. It was kind of gringy and grimy, and was storage, and not, we didn't spend a lot of time there. But then it got fixed up, and we would hang out there, and I even lived down there for a while, many years later. So yeah, but if the attic, I don't think our attic can be fixed up. It's too short. You need a ladder to get up there, and it's too much work. Refurbish. Furbish is a fun word. It's not refurnish, it's refurbish for some reason. We'll talk about that one, I guess, when we get to... Is the word furbish? Can you furbish something? I hear refurbish, but I want to just furbish something. Furbish is a funny word. Number 2 for fix up. To set right. The synonym is settle. Like maybe settle a bet. As in the example, fixed up their dispute. Their dispute was broken. They had to refurbish their dispute, so they fixed it up. Number 3, to provide with something needed or wanted, especially to arrange a date for. To arrange a date for. We're trying to fix up a date, make a date to go hang out and get some pizza. Let's fix up a time. Is that how you say this? All right. Now we are moving in to, so we have a few more F-I words, just a few. Now we have the word fizz, which is kind of like my sound effect. How do you make a fizz sound? This is the first form of fizz. F-I-Z-Z, if you didn't know. It is the intransitive verb from 1685. Number 1, to make a hissing or sputtering sound. The synonym is effervesce. Effervesce. Great word. Great word. Fizz. Fizz is a much easier word to say. Fizz. Effervesce seems fancy. Fizz seems normal. I would just say fizz. Ooh, that sody pop is fizzing so much. Number 2, to show excitement or exhilaration. Oh my God, I'm so excited because I'm about to meet this famous person. I'm fizzing with excitement. My insides are effervescing. We don't know where this came from. We don't know. Yeah, it's like a hissing sound. Now we have the second form of fizz. Noun from 1842. Number 1A, a hissing sound. Number 1B, the synonyms are spirit and liveliness. Like when you have that excitement, that exhilaration. You are, so excited for what else might you be excited for? I'm so excited that I get to go to sleep. I have a fizz. Number 2, an effervescent beverage. I don't love fizzy, effervescent beverages. Like a sparkling wine is good, but I don't like sparkling water. I prefer the still water and not the fizzy water. I want the water that is unfizzy. Can you remove the fizz from my water, please? I don't really drink pop anymore. The carbonation, the fizz, mostly because of the sugars and how unhealthy they are. That's the main reason why I don't drink them. I don't mind the fizziness. I do love the burps. The fizz is going to provide a lot of burps, which I do enjoy. It's very silly and funny for myself, maybe not for other people. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Fizzy is an adjective. I do like this word. Oh, but we got more words. What? How? What? How we got more words coming? The first form of the word fizzle. Ooh, fizzle. F-I-Z-Z-L-E. This one is an intransitive verb from 1840. And number one, the synonym is fizz. Fizzle. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I hear fizzle sometimes, but not so much. Not as much as fizz, I guess. I mean, fizz, I can't get away from the word fizz. But fizzle, it's like, you can come back. I can hear you a little bit more fizzle. Number two, this is the one I think I hear more. To fail or end feebly. To fail or end feebly, especially after a promising start. This is often used with the word out. Fizzle out. Oh, they started running that marathon so great. They were running at a 4-minute mile, and they did 1 mile, and then they just fizzled out, and then they fell down, and they said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I have fizzled out. The second form of fizzle is a noun from 1846. It is an abortive effort. Okay, this is interesting. The synonym is failure. So if you are trying to end something, an abortive effort, abort the mission. We're not going to win the mission. Abort, fizzle the mission. Failure. I guess mission failed. Mission fizzled. Fizzled mission. We did not accomplish this one. No. All right, that was the last F-I word. Now here we go with fjord. This is a fun word. It is spelled F-J-O-R-D, or you can also spell it with an I instead of a J if you so choose, but the proper spelling, I believe, at least here in English, is with a J. Fjord. This is a noun from 1674. By the way, was there any etymology that I missed? I don't think so. Fizz had nothing. So here we go. A fjord is a narrow inlet of the sea between cliffs or steep slopes. There is a picture of a fjord here. A nice, beautiful, cute little drawing. There is like a sort of a hilly area meadow in the front, in the foreground. And then we see this narrow, it's kind of like a river, kind of narrow body of water. And is there a little boat or a rock down there? I can't tell. But then there's also like a cliff on one side of the water. And then there's some hills on the other side. And then there's some more cliffs and hills in the background. Just sort of winds around like that. That's a fjord. It's not just a river. It has to be surrounded by these tall, hilly, cliffy structures. We were, I think we were in some fjords in, this would have been in New Zealand. We took a trip to the fjords. We took a bus trip. We got to stop off at some nice little places, and then we got to the fjords. Then we got on a boat, and we went through the fjords, and I think there were some waterfalls. There might have been some animals, and then we took the boat back, and then those were some very nice fjords. I'll have to confirm that those were fjords. There might be another name for them. I could have it mistaken. But based on this definition, I'm pretty sure they were fjords. I guess I could look it up real quick. Yeah, it's just a very nice, beautiful place. And let's see, I'm gonna bring up my maps just to confirm my suspicion. Let's see, this was outside of Queenstown. Here we go. And where did we go? We went, I remember looking at this on the map. Fiordland National Park. Yes. Oh, and it's just filled with fjords. It looks very mountainous, and there's just lots and lots and lots of these bodies of water, skinny bodies of waters. And that must be where we went. Fiordland National Park. So yeah, definitely fjords. Milford Sound, is that where we went specifically? That sounds familiar. And yeah, this is just there's a body of water that goes right out to the ocean. All right, fantastic. I'm so glad that I was correct about that. I think those northern European countries have a lot of fjords up there too, because this word, it's Norwegian word, fjord, from Old Norse, fjorther, and there's more at the word ford, F-O-R-D. Interesting. I wonder, is that an Americanized way to say this word? Interesting. Okay. Now we have F-L. This is an abbreviation for number 1, flanker, number 2, floor, number 3, florin, spelled F-L-O-R-I-N. Number 4 is flourished. And number 5, fluid. All of those can get abbreviated to FL for very obvious reasons, I think. And now we have one more word for this episode. It's FL, all caps. Abbreviation for 1, Florida. Number 2, focal length. Number 3, foreign language. Florida. I'm not going to talk about Florida. We're not going to talk about Florida. All right. That's it. That's all I got. Let's pick a word of the episode. Today we had fixed charge. Fixed charge, yeah. Fixed oil, fixed point, fixed star, fixer, fixer-upper, fixing, fixity, fixture, fix up, fizz, fizz, fizzle, fizzle, fjord, FL, and FL. What was the name of that? Wasn't there the magic bus? What was her name, the teacher? It wasn't Mrs. Fizzle, was it? I didn't really watch that show. Fixer. Was the guy in Roadhouse, was he considered a fixer? Gonna fix the situation? I sort of remember that. I don't know if that's the proper term, but it seems right. It seems right. Let's see. Ooh. I think I might just pick, pick fizz as the word of the episode. Fizz, fizz, fizz. My body is fizzing. Why is my body fizzing? I drank too much pop. Fizz is the word of the episode. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Here we go. I'm going to tell you about another movie that I watched, which is The Brutalist. I don't know architecture, so I didn't consciously know that brutalism is a type of architecture that this guy worked in. It's an amazing story, true story, about a guy in his probably 30s or so, I don't know, 30s or 40s, who comes from Europe to America, the immigrant story, and he was a successful architect there, and then he sort of works his way up when he gets to America, and he's making some brutalist architecture. He is the brutalist. It's brutalism. And yeah, I mean, I had heard of that type of architecture before, but it was like, oh yeah, I guess, okay. And then it's interesting work. It's very blocky and geometrical and interesting stuff. I don't know why he was a genius. I don't know, but he seemed very smart, and everything was done with intention. And it's an interesting story about this guy. Hungarian, that's where he's from. Okay. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for checking out this show. Please rate and review, subscribe, email, send me a voicemail if you want, buy some merchandise, share, do all the stuff. And this is on YouTube if you want to see the visuals. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Fizz. Fizz gig. Fizz wig?